Hi everybody, I wanted to make a video about Isha kriya. So I was introduced to Isha kriya in the year 2016, and honestly I was very skeptical about it. I thought it was too simplistic, it was not going to do anything. But lo and behold, to my surprise, I started to do it every morning, once a day, and then twice a day. So I would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would do one in the afternoon. Or sometimes I would do one at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and one at 11, 12 in midday, right? Usually in the evening at 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I noticed while doing this is it's very simple to follow. You have the explanation, then you have a certain mantra like that you follow, and then you have to release sound, right? Activate your sound, and then you just stay pointed at your third eye. Now, in the beginning, what I noticed was not a lot was happening. But after week 3, week 4, week 5, what I started to notice was my visuals became more and more. And after my practices, after I had done my meditation, whatever I was doing, so I was usually coupling my meditation with writing my journal. So I had this morning routine where I would brush my teeth, meditate, and then do writing, and then go on with my day, do other practices, or go on with my life. And what I would notice is that whenever I did Isha kriya, my mind would be so laser focused. And whatever I was doing, as time passed by, it became more and more efficient. All of a sudden, while I was doing something, I had this bodily impulse to tweak things a little bit. Like whenever I was writing, the questions became more profound, more deep, more concrete. I went deeper into the process of writing. I added binaural beats while writing. So my whole writing experience in the journal, it became like a self-inquiry. It evolved. And the other things that I was doing, like practicing or reading, it became so much more sophisticated, so much more, let's say, valuable. The experiences became more in depth. I could lose myself and surrender to every experience, and I could do it more efficiently, and I would become better at whatever I was doing. And it was very interesting to notice that. I was like, this is a life hack. Like this practice is so simple. But then there was a period where I remember this very clearly. So I was doing it at 4 in the morning, and I would start to see these lotus flowers, so vivid, so bright, and I was like, wow, so beautiful. Sometimes I would get like energy in my head. I would see like lights, bulb of lights appearing, sometimes causing a contraction, an explosion of light. And I didn't know what to think of it. Nobody was explaining what was going on, so I was just going along with it. Then there was a period where I saw like dark entities. I saw these creepy faces, these cartoon faces, like from anime, from Dragon Ball Z. You have like these almost monster-like creatures that are like cartoonish from another planet. Like I kept seeing like those kind of lizard-like beings, like what do they call them? Reptilians. I would see like very vivid, like alien-like structures, and I would feel their presence, and it was very worrying. But I kept going on through it, and I noticed that the more that I was doing it, the more centered I was in the stillness that was created between my thoughts and myself. So because when you're doing the mantra, your thoughts can come in, but you notice them, they're coming in, and you know they're just thoughts, they're just stories, and you realize that's all not you. It's all like just things passing through. And at the end, there is like a profound stillness. There are moments of bliss, there are moments of, yeah, I remember this very well. There were moments where at the end, when you have to sit still and just look at there, all of a sudden my body started to shake. Like my hands started to shake, or my feet started to shake, or I made these growling sounds like my body started to like, it was as if my subconscious was expressing things that were buried deep within it, and it was all coming out. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but it is awakening your Kundalini for sure, because I remember one day clearly, after doing it so I started in 2016 October, and I did it till 2017 February, and I remember February, March, April, that I had like these spontaneous energy movements in my body to my head, and I would feel like this explosion and this release of endorphins. I would feel like blissed out after the experience. So it kept like gradually building up and becoming more and more intense. And I was loving it. I was loving it because everything in my life became more efficient. I felt almost like I'd become a superhuman being. Whatever I was doing, whatever I was reading, studying, practicing, whatever, like my intelligence got sharper. I could notice, like, I can make this more efficient. Just with a little tweak, it became more efficient, more efficient. By surrendering to the process, you go fully with the process, and you learn way more from it and way faster from it. So I was really in love with it. And then I remembered I could couple it. So because after the Isha kriya, you're almost like in an altered state of consciousness where you're super present, and it's totally clear and quiet, and you're also becoming more confrontational. Like I noticed while going on with my life, in my relationships, whenever there was something that was weighing on me, or feelings that I had in the past, I would have reacted like, I'm aware of these feelings, I don't want to express them, like what is this about? I would just be aware of them and try to be with them. But now it's like I'm embodying my body fully, and I was owning the feeling, and I was expressing it confrontationally, like, hey, I feel like this. Why are you behaving like this? Let's talk about this. Let's talk this out. Let's cut through the bullshit. It was so empowering, but it also made me feel a bit like, like I don't want to be that person. It was a bit confusing, because it almost felt like I was unconscious, but then I realized it just enhances everything that I am. So my conscious parts are enhanced, but my unconscious parts are also enhanced. So I have to become aware of it and to do the work to heal that. And what I noticed also was, whenever I would do Isha kriya, and I would do other meditations throughout the day, whatever they would be, there would be manifestation meditation, or relaxation, or self-inquiry, they are so much deeper. Like for sure, it almost feels like when you do an Isha kriya meditation, you're releasing energy into your body. You're filling your body up with energy, and then you're like supercharged. And then when you do other meditations, you feel they're way more potent. The visuals are better. The energy is better. It's like alive. I remember very well, before doing things like Isha kriya, whenever I would meditate, I would mostly do mindfulness meditations. I did 1 year of, what's it called? The popular mindfulness meditation, Headspace. I did it fully. It was amazing. It was really good. But what was it about? It was all about in the head, mental, being present, exploring different areas of your mind, exploring your heart, exploring concepts, exploring exploring different aspects of your being. It was really nice, but it was all mental, and it was always me trying to make something up or do something with my imagination to stimulate my consciousness to have a certain effect, right? But here, it was like, I'm just doing the mantra, I'm doing the chanting, and then I'm listening to his voice, and I'm just sitting still, and all of a sudden the energy in me was bubbling up, releasing a lot of stuff, changing a lot of stuff. There were rewiring happening, and it would enhance me. It would actually enhance my abilities. Everything that I did, my speaking skills, my learning skills, my sexual skills, my observation, like I became so much more aware of, whenever I was talking with people, of what they were saying, what they meant. It was like I was like hooked in. I was alive. I was just flowing, and it was very enlivening, and I felt enlivened. I remember I coupled it with self-inquiry, and I had like my first spontaneous awakening moment when I did self-inquiry coupled with Isha kriya. I'll never forget that. It was amazing. And so that's how I've been using it back then. What I did notice was, after doing it for almost a year, I would start to dream of Sadhguru. I would start to have like these dreams where I would see the world, and I would see, like, I remember this very vividly. I would see a street, like a war zone. It was completely demolished. There were tanks, there was cars and debris, and people were hiding under the cars, and I was also hiding there. And then I went into a building, and I saw Sadhguru walking down the street looking for survivors. And I went into a bathroom, and I just hid there in a corner, and I saw him looking for survivors, and somewhere I knew he was trying to save people, to help people, but I was afraid and didn't trust him. Like, I had that dream. I remember it so vividly. I'll never forget it. And I had other dreams of him. I then had a deep yearning to go to India to follow one of his courses. Like, it was so magically the way it aligned. I received money. I received it as a gift. I had received money, and then all of a sudden I had this deep yearning, like, wow, maybe I should do the yoga training in India or one of his programs. And then it was lining up. It was exactly what I needed to do, and I was too afraid to go. I was too afraid to go alone. There was so much resistance, but I felt the yearning. I would listen to all his videos. I would I would listen to his chants. It would move me so much. I also noticed I would couple it, like Isha kriya, with other mindfulness practices, and it really changed my practices from being just mental to being energetically alive, and it was really a very good way into kriya yoga. Now, I recommended this to one of my friends, and he started to do it. And there's one more thing that it did for me. After doing it for 4, 5, 6 months, I would notice that I would have the ability to dissociate from myself. So I could be aware, and all of a sudden I could see myself being in this room where I am now from a third eye perspective. And then I could look at myself, and I could alter my state of consciousness. Like, that ability just appeared. It just came up. Like, I don't remember how it happened, but I remember after doing the meditations for a while, after I woke up, I just knew, I can do that. So I imagined it, I saw myself, and I while I was looking at myself, I just said, are you able to surrender to this moment? And I saw myself, And the moment that I saw and that question was heard by myself, I felt like my body was like shifting energy, and all of a sudden my energy was free flowing. I was flowing, I was like loose. My state of consciousness was altered. And then the shit started. So for me, it almost felt like Isha Kriya gave me the access to the keyboard. I could see and hear and understand like possibilities of my mind, how I could use my mind. And also I became aware of different aspects of my body. All of a sudden I became aware that my breath had intelligence. It's so uncanny when you first realize it. So I did Isha Kriya, and then I was doing a mindfulness practice like usually I did, or self-inquiry practice. And while I'm sitting, I'm just noticing my breath. All of a sudden, because my energy was active, I noticed that by just following the breath deeply to its root, an impulse came out of there. And it had like thoughts. And then it had like impulses of energy, impulses of ideas, creativity. And I was like, what is this? And then all of a sudden, I would inquire into the breath. I would sink into my breathing, and I would and inquire, ask a question or do something. And then when the question landed, it would start to come up. And all of a sudden, like I would have like these deep insights. It was like knowledge which I didn't know was all of a sudden available to me. So my system was becoming more and more open. It was like I was constantly using an iPhone that was locked, and all of a sudden Isha Kriya was unlocking it, and I had a jailbroken iPhone, and all my capacities were working. It was really interesting. Also, what I noticed was whenever I would see people, I would be able to feel into them. I would be able to feel what they feel. Or I would be able to understand what they feel. Like by looking at them, by feeling them, I could feel what they were or what they meant. And yeah, like it gave me like this whole new perception of the body, what it's capable of, and how I can relate with other people. In the gym, when going to sports, my workouts became so much more on point. It was like I was supercharged. I was going through it. I became more like ruthless almost. I was like a soldier, like just training through my training, going without any fatigue, with full concentration, and the exercises became more and more symmetrically or perfectly aligned. Like I gained strength very fast, and I was doing the exercises with a much more intense involvement. What I also noticed was I started to incorporate a yoga routine, and after every workout I did a yoga routine, and I would just bliss out after my 30-minute yoga routine. So I mean, if you commit to Isha Kriya, it has so much in store for you, so much potential. So like I remember sometimes after Isha Kriya, I would have like these creative ideas, impulses to just like to do something random, or to go somewhere, and then I would meet somebody, or I would get like these new opportunities. Like I became more in touch with my intuition. It has truly a lot to offer, but you have to commit to it. You have to do it for a while. And yeah, after I stopped doing it, because I did stop doing it, I noticed my admiration, or my desire to be near Sadhguru, to to follow him, it lessened. So there was more of a distance. And yeah, like, it does work. It works 100%. You become more efficient. You become more in touch with yourself. And you become more aware of all the possibilities of your body, of your mind, of this one thing that was very clear. I remember it. It gave me this ability. So at a certain point, I could feel a person, and by feeling into the person, I could actually feel what they needed me to be. So I would look at a person, I would be like, how does it feel to be what they need me to be? And then I would just feel their body, and all of a sudden, like, energy shifted in my body, and I would feel like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to say. And like, I would go in this almost like automatic pilot. I would adjust my being to them, and we would like interact in a yin yang manner. It was very interesting. Yeah. My sexuality was also like my sexual desire was way more active. It's like, because it was opening up. I then realized how closed off my sexuality was before. So there was a constant urge to express, to experiment, to try out, to reach a peak. Like, through that, I started to have more tantric experiences, more energetic sexual experiences, and it was truly amazing. It's a whole new world in itself. So, I mean, if you commit to it, if you do it, like in the beginning, I did it twice a day for a couple of months, and then I just did it once a day, and it worked. It worked 100%. And you don't lose those abilities that opened up, because I remember, like, that ability to alter your state of consciousness. There's so many variables and possibilities there, because your mind is endless. So you can have endless altered state of consciousness. You can program yourself to be in a free flow of light, ease, and love, and you can feel all the time light, ease, and love. But how would you say, if you do that, if you go, and because what I did was, I was using all those newfound abilities to actually make myself feel better all the time, to let's say, I felt very special. I felt like I had this secret, and honestly, I was not telling people about it, because I thought like people won't understand. And yeah, it was a very funny time, but it does work. So I do recommend it to anybody who was interested in it. If you have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, give it a try. It's worth it. Yeah, it is.